Hi, everybody. This is Ryan from Athletic Conceptual Training, here with another awesome interview for you. Today we have a licensed therapist, uh, um, a great resource for mental health and awareness. He has so much information for us. I have my co-host here, Terry Adams. Good to see you again. Bye.
Good seeing you guys. What's up? What's up?
Well, look, let me jump right in and give you guys a little bit of history of who we have talking about who with us right now. We have Hassan Russell, APCC, is a dedicated associate therapist specializing in family, family and youth mental health, with experience in both community-based and private practice settings. He works primarily with adolescents and families navigating behavioral and emotional challenges. As a clinician for the Alameda County Behavioral Science and associate under Dr. Veal at the Holistic Expressions Therapy company. Cool, cool. Hassan provides culturally responsive care that blends evidence based techniques with a deep understanding of identity, relationships, and resilience. That man. Beyond his clinical work, Hassan has developed a 8-week dating program rooted in Gottman theory and solution focused therapy, guiding singles through self discovery and intentional connection. He also explores mental health themes through his YouTube channel, Therapy is Life, uh, LYF, just so you guys can understand that. And his Instagram series, The Chop Shop, where he breaks down hip hop lyrics through a therapeutic lens. Passionate about making therapy accessible and relevant, Hassan brings a unique real world approach to mental wellness. Mr. Hassan Russell,
Mm,
thank you for taking the time to sit down and speak with us today. That's right.
Yeah, no,
That's
thank you for
right.
having me.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to say, associate licensed therapist. I know people they really trip up for that. Licensed therapist
Okay.
and associate. Associate mean like you're to become a license,
Yeah.
you got to get 3,000 hours. I think I'm like at 1,000 right now.
Okay.
But I just know
Okay.
people really trip up for that. License,
Yep.
associate
Oh,
license.
sorry. Make that correction. Associate. So, man, tell me a little bit about yourself. What have you been up to? I see you have the 8-week program for singles. I see you have the Chop Shop. I mean, sounds like you got a lot of content going on right now. What spearheaded all this?
I think for me, I think like especially being a black man, like I learned early going to school that especially once I shifted from those African American classes to the more social classes, right? Like when you get into like the council dynamic and stuff like that, it became just to be just me. And I think
Mm,
in the middle of that, I kind of realized like doing undergrad, like, oh, this is a space where I can get into and I could thrive, not on in the sense of like financially, but more just like spiritually, right? Because we
mm,
all want to have our careers and our goals. Big for me, something that was really, really big for me was that my career had to line up with something that I identified with.
mm-hmm,
And supporting people, especially with mental health. And I know it's a thing that's just not talked about enough, at all, right? Like, how many times in the world do you get a chance to focus on how you feel in the moment and it not be anger, right? Especially as men, anger is the one that we always go to. But yeah, I could start going. But yeah, that's what it really is, though. Just the fact that like I seen a space where I could fill up and be in and exist to my fullest extent, and I'm always taking advantage of that for sure.
yeah, man, I love that. And hey, this is the space for you to break it down, get into it. We want to know all those things. I think colliding mental health and sports is something that is needed. It is also something that I am passionate about. My company being called Athletic Conceptual Training is blending the mind with the action. So I think this is perfect timing, and we're ready to learn and just break different ideas down with you. Um, so couple questions for you. So let's get into it. Um,
Do it.
can you share a little bit about your journey? What inspired you to become a therapist, especially focusing on family and youth mental health? I know you just kind of touched on that a little bit. Any more elaboration to that?
Yeah. Um, like I said, just to kind of continue on that, I think being the only black male in a program, you learn quickly how important community is,
Yeah.
and it's easy for us to kind of go on the road where we by ourselves and we got to thug it out, and it's just me and I'm gonna figure it out. But once another black dude got to the program and we got a chance to commune, it really put a capitalization on that community and how
Yeah.
important it is. And then you think of the base of what community is family,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times with family can be a troublesome thing, especially if you're not communicating the same way, or you just simply don't understand each other's communication language, right? Like I could be the person that need to hear the exact words "I love you," or I could be the person where your actions will show me that you love me.
Mm.
But if I don't know that about my family, right, we get a lot of family breakdown within that, and a lot of people beef with each other, and it's something that's I feel from, but it's always come from perspective that I spent a lot of time working on this. It's easily fixable just
Mm.
by being intentional and communicating in the proper way, how we want to be communicated to. So yeah, that's what it really was. It does.
Well, kind of a side conversation, something I just thought about. I know there's a lot of talk, especially in the dating world, about love languages. Would you say learning
Yeah.
someone's love language, not outside of um, a relationship where you're dating someone, is essential?
You about to have me get into my bag. You about to have me get into my
Hey,
bag.
that's what we're
This is
here
what
for. That's what we're here for.
right. So at first, so let's be clear. I think love language. I think that idea was started by a pastor,
Okay.
which in the sense of that it's not any kind of like research behind it. And
Mm,
within therapy in itself, that's a big part of it is that research backing things up. And so the things that you're doing actually got proof that they work and they can be repeated.
yeah.
But I think personally, I think it's kind of real. Like if I like to get gifts, I like to get gifts. If physical touch is a part of my love language and I need to be hugged, and it's real, right? So like these things, they not research back, but it's tangible things that I could kind of get into. But is it important? Um, to a certain extent. To a certain extent. Like, yeah, this is could be my love language, but at the same time, how I grew up affect my love language, right? So like if I was a
Mm,
part of a family that wasn't really touchy touchy and huggy, that's never gonna work with me. And if
yeah.
I'm dealing with a partner that is touchy touchy, now we got that conflict, and that's where we might not know how to communicate with each other on that level. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it has its
Mm.
place, but at the same time, you gotta tread light with it because you can get into a sticky situation going
So,
die hard on it. Like this is just it.
so if I get a meme from my girl, not my girl, my wife, about love language
Yeah.
You about to
from
get in
my
trouble.
love, from I don't know, no, 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 from my wife, because she likes to send me memes, right? So if it's something
Mhm.
based in uh, love languages, is that something that is should I take that serious, or are we taking a myth, so to speak, and trying to make it relatable to our situation? And it's not necessarily science
That's
based.
that's a good question. It's like I said, science has a place, right? But if
Right.
something is working for you, then it's working, right? Like
Okay.
if she wants to deem it her love language, and I want to share this laugh with you, that's still sharing a moment, right? It's still
Right.
positive connection to humans, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, on the surface level, it doesn't fall in any of those categories, but still, it's like that's my form of communicating.
Hmm.
Um, the another level on top of that would be how do I let you know that this is my love language? If I'm telling you like, hey, this is how I show love, like we share these moments and we laugh together and we
Yeah.
sharing these big feelings, then yeah, okay, that's my love language. But if I'm just sending you memes expecting you to get that, like this is how I communicate, then now we get to the problem where it's like, well, it's just me. I ignored it. It's not that big of a deal. Right. But
Yeah.
still like, yeah, this could be my love language. I have to be able to communicate that.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that, at least for me, it's awesome when she is communicative. whether it be sending a meme or just like flat out saying how she's feeling, like the more communication, the better, because it helps me learn.
Yeah. And I hate to play in these kind of dynamics, but most men, they need straight to A to B. We don't need the A.5 or the you know what I'm saying? We need to be told what I need from you, right?
Yeah.
That's how our brains works. We work solution based, right?
Right.
A plus B is the quickest way to get there.
Yeah.
There
you gotta.
I feel like we're gonna have to.
I know. Hey, it sounds like you got something to ask. Hey, do it.
So, really, I mean, so I like it. I like what you're saying about like communication. So, when it comes to something, I wanted to ask, like, kind of piggyback off of what Ryan's saying, but instead of love language wise, right? So, like, communication from parent to child, right? What do you? How can I say? How can you bring kind of that same thing, but towards your child, if that makes sense?
Oh no, it makes plenty of sense. This is what I see every day.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Get into it.
The general idea is that this is my kid, and I have an emotional connection with my kid. Period. That's what everybody think they should have. But the realistic part of that, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not a parent. I can't teach nobody how to parent, and I can't tell nobody how to parent. How you parent is your parenting style. But I am really, really good at emotions and feelings and communicating. And I understand that relationships is something that I do and I know about. And the relationship with a kid and a parent it's no different. A lot of times, like I give you an example. And I don't want to go too deep into it because it's just, only so much we could say. But I've seen plenty of situations where like it's automatically assumed that me asking you, did you brush your teeth? Did you do this? These things that's like technical things, right? Like, did you make sure you put this in your backpack? Did you turn in your homework? A lot of time a parent would look at that like that's love, but is the kid perceiving it that way? It's like it's still the same things. It's just a different dynamic. It's like yeah, you care about me because you're my parent. Like this is why you hear a lot of kids say you're supposed to do that. Like when they get older, you're supposed to do that. It's the same thing. I show love by taking care of you, but sometimes the kid might not need that. They might need you to say, "Hey, I love you. Let's cook dinner together. Let's go on a walk." You know what I'm saying? Let's turn everything off and just be connected one-on-one. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, a relationship with your kid isn't just naturally granted. You got to work towards that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like it. Yeah.
Kind of playing on your chop shop. How does self-awareness play a role in building healthy relationships, and how can athletes apply these principles both in their personal lives and within the team dynamic?
Okay, let's start with the first part, self-awareness and healthy relationships, because teamwork frames, I would have to it only makes sense that it would be under relationship dynamics, right? It's just under the sense of it's a group of us. But self-awareness is probably the most important thing you can have going into any relationship. Romantic, friendships, the more you know about yourself, the more you're going to understand your boundaries and what you're willing to accept and not accept. And when you understand your boundaries and what you're willing to accept and not accept, you're more comfortable with bending them.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what relationships is. Relationships is how far am I willing to bend my boundaries because I fuck with you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mess with you, so I'm willing to bend them this amount. But if you don't know that yet, and you're just dealing with somebody, and part of a normal relationship is bending boundaries, and then one of them snap, now we have like an incursion, and now we lost because I didn't bend the boundary that I didn't know was there. I didn't know that you wearing my hoodie was that big of a deal to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Was that big of a deal? And I don't like you because pockets is next to each other and your feet stink, and I gotta smell that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's just,
or you got you got your hand in my plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got this whole plate over there, but you in mine. What's up?
Exactly.
Well, okay, so like
it comes that out.
I got an example. I was just um at work last night, and there was someone saying, "Hey, oh, this, that, and the other. I don't like these things that are happening. I won't go into full detail. I won't go in. I mean, I don't like these things that are happening, and was seeking advice. And my question was like, okay, so where are you within yourself? Like where are your morals and your boundaries, and what are you willing to to deal with? Because while you're saying what you don't like, you don't you have all the power to not deal with that. So is it that you really like it? Is it that like why my question is like, why complain about what you don't want to fix? And what stage of mental health is that person in at that time? Obviously there's some insecurity there, maybe some fear of being alone, some
Yeah.
rejection feelings.
Um,
But how would you advise someone, to work through that? I mean, assuming this is a girl, which I mean, most cases are like this, a girl complaining about her guy, but really
mhm,
not gonna leave. It seems like,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. A girl complaining. So there's a thing, and I don't know all of them by heart, but it's called attachment styles.
Mm,
I think there's four. There's secure attachment style, fearful avoidant attachment style, anxious attachment style, and I think there's one more, but which I forget. But they all play a role in what we're willing to accept from relationships, and it says why we're willing to accept it, right? So like,
hmm
whether it be like if I have an anxious attachment style and I'm dealing with somebody that's really, really distant, and I put up well with that, right? So like we don't see each other that often, but we get texts or we get the, that late night call to pull up.
Yeah.
My anxious attachment style, because of what I've been through in the past, is gonna let me put up with that because I don't really want to get that. I don't really want to get close like that. I want
Yeah.
that barrier between us, so I don't have to commit to the next level that I might just not mentally be ready to go to.
Got it.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people, when people are avoiding things like that and they stand around in sticky situations, is because it's just a play on like their childhood or just their past experience. And
Mm,
a real relationship and a real bond and a marriage and that whole process, it takes a lot of vulnerability. But we know what doesn't.
mm,
Me not giving a fuck about this person and letting them play around with me and not having to really engage in deep conversations when they do crazy stuff. That's
yeah.
easy. It's easy to get played. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
easy to be in a relationship where you're happy because it doesn't force you to grow and communicate.
Yeah.
Real relationships, you gotta communicate. You know what I'm saying? You
Whew.
can go to sleep next to each other, you gotta talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the nature of it.
You're rub
So
on it. Damn right.
yeah.
Good.
So based off of what you're saying, right? Wanna wanna ask pretty much like, so how much do you, or what do you think is the percentage, right, of how your childhood environment and experiences play a part in like your mindset when it comes to a relationship?
Hmm.
Percentage. That's a good question. I never thought to put a percentage on it.
Wait,
I don't even think I could honestly. Okay.
can I make a little addendum to that? It it does it have to be, when we say relationship, are we talking about dating relationship? Are we just talking about relationship, like interpersonal
Uh,
relationships like we're having,
as a
or
whole.
as a whole? Okay.
So it could be dating, it could be
Yeah.
family, it could be friends. Just
Yeah.
how it just, and just your opinion. What, how do you feel all that plays a big, what portion do you feel plays a bigger part, and things of that nature.
Yeah. Um. Oh, man, it's it's so it could range. It could be 100%, and then but there's so many little things that could deviate you on that path, right? So like I could have a situation where my parents' relationship wasn't the best, and I didn't see that much love in the house. But along that way, in middle school I could step at a friend's house and get all that love I need, and then that'll fix everything. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It'll fix
yeah,
everything.
Mm,
So it's so random. It's hard to
yeah,
just really pick out like, oh, you this and this, and that's gonna happen, because there's little things that can happen along the way that can change your perspective on everything. It's just really more about using those tools when they're necessary. And what I mean by saying that is that, like, if you're dealing with a problem, then a lot of times it can be traced back to where something that happened a long time ago as a kid. But if that problem doesn't exist, there's no reason to bring it up and make it though. Like, it has to, that communication breakdown has to already be present. There's no need to dig for it, you know?
I mean, how many situations I feel like, okay, this is, I feel like I have a couple of life experiences, not a lot, but like most situations do have some sort of past trauma. Most people's current traumas are a direct reflection of their past traumas, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right. And then just because this is what I really like to talk about, you add the extra layer on there of just being African American in America. Right now, like, you damn near, the percentage of having trauma is damn near, like, I think it's like 89%, 85%. Like, it's really, really high. Right. So you add that into there, like, yeah, it's more than likely something happened. That's why I can't say I put a percentage on it. But it's more than likely, you Black in America, there's more than likely something happened that skewed the way you see relationships, whether it happened in your family or outside.
I mean,
that makes sense for sure.
That's generational.
But it's also important to say, I have to say this, none of this is permanent, right? Everything could be challenged and everything could be changed. It's not like something happened to you as a kid and that's how you are. Nah, not at all, by far. Like I said, you can randomly stumble into a family of neighbors and they can fulfill all those gaps for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just important to say, that none of this stuff is permanent. Like, these things can be challenged and they can be changed. You know what I'm saying? Usually through other healthy relationships.
I really love that you said that. I think that's an important component to take away from this little piece that we were talking about here. And it just like sheds, a light at the end of the tunnel to say, like, hey guys, there's hope. You don't have to stay in the dark place.
And I had to say that because how many times do we see people not engaging, like you said, in healthy relationships and not really living to their fullest potential community-wise because they feel like they're broken, right? Broken is such a dangerous word because something get broken, and it's a lot of times when we think broke, we think it's not fixable. But no, that's not the case. It's not like you broke. You just human. Part of being human is having bumps and scrapes and scars and things that show where you came from, but they all heal. It's just the emotional one. Like I like to say, it's like breaking a finger and you never go get it straightened out and get a cast on it and all that stuff. Same thing mentally. Like something traumatic happens, your brain snaps, and you never go to therapy to put that so-called like mental cast on it to straighten it back forward. Then you just walk around with a finger that's crooked the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And you think like, oh, that's not how it is. But you can fix that finger. It's just going to take a lot more invasive surgery to do so. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. You've developed an 8-week dating program rooted in the Gottman theory. Am I saying that correct? Gottman?
Yeah, it's Gottman's. Gottman's theory.
Gottman's.
Yeah.
Okay. And
if you get a chance, check them. They're really dope.
Okay.
They're really dope. I just want to say that if you get a chance to check out Gottman, it sounds like it's a technical term, but it's really a dude like in his. I think it's a couple. It's a man and wife, and they're like in their 70s and 80s, and they've been teaching this theory, and it's like research backed, and they have evidence showing that it like heals relationships and it fixes relationships. It's dope. It's dope. I'm going to their training in June, but it's dope.
Okay. Shoot, man, send me the info. Maybe I might, might check that out too.
Yeah, I
should. All need a little work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put the description for the Gottman's theory in the link below, so you guys can all check that out. But tell us a little bit about the 8-week program that you've developed.
Yeah, and now it actually done turn into a 14-week program now. It actually done kind of bumped up. Just because, when you're dealing with a lot of past trauma, it could take time just to process that, right? Like, one of the things the way I start the program off is by doing a genogram. And a genogram is kind of like a family tree. But instead of just putting names and ages, you kind of dive more deep into the story behind that, right? So like, let's say grandma and grandpa were together, but then grandpa had kids on the side. and then you're doing it from the perspective of the client. So then they looking at that and like, tell me how you felt about that relationship. And then you get into like, oh well, I knew I never want to be like my grandpa, or I never want to have a relationship like that. Which it's like a swing, right? If I try to go the exact opposite, I'm still gonna end up in a place where I don't really want to be. It's really all about balance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the first thing I do. We do look at those past relationships, the ones that you've seen, the foundation for how you view relationship. Your mom and dad, if they're together or not together, or what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Those things can affect how we see relationships. Some people won't never be married just because they they never seen it, right? Or this I give you a good one that I see all the time on social media, all the time. And it exists before with men, but it's more now happening with women. Like it was the idea of like bitches ain't shit for us. But for women right now, it's the idea that like niggas on shit. Like so you see Doechii going viral with the whole straight man being a bad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really just trauma speaking out. Like I had a traumatic experience with this type of demographic, and I'm just kind of like putting it on everybody now because I haven't got that part of me healed, you know?
Wow.
It's the same thing. Like the parents is the foundation for all of that. If my idea is that niggas ain't shit because my dad wasn't shit, and where's the wiggle room for somebody that is shit? Like the bar becomes way lower, so I'm willing to take a lot less bullshit. I mean, a lot
Mm-hmm.
more bullshit. I'm willing to take a
Yeah.
lot more because, oh, they all do this. They all cheat. You know what I'm saying? If that's where my perspective is, then it's
Yeah.
it's not too
Yeah.
much far up to go.
Would you say though? Because to me that sounds like, and I'm no expert or anything, but to me this sounds like someone who is more or less just accepting what is versus setting their own boundaries and standing on them.
Exactly.
And I think,
Exactly.
like,
But you got to put the work in that is.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Important. You got to put that work in to what that is because if 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 my ideas of what healthy is that bad, now I got to look into myself now. And a lot of times we get things just from looking out, but you got to look inside yourself and see what do I really truly want from a relationship.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of work that goes into that. That's why it had to go from 8 weeks to 4. It just wasn't enough time. Like I
Mm,
can't get to week 3 and we still one.
Right,
You know what I'm
makes
saying?
sense.
right.
You got to give yourself.
Wow. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, go see Mr. Russell here. Get on that 14-week program. We'll definitely put a link also in the description to that program so you guys can go and check out. Where can they find this program?
Um, I'm trying to decide right now. I kind of want to give it away for free, like just as a self-paced thing. But also I do it like in a group setting too, right? So like it'll be like I'm thinking from a range of group of 6, 10.
Mhm.
But I do like I want it to be accessible. Like I want people to be able to take it if it's a workbook and just work through it on their own. And I also want people to pay for that little bit of luxury to have me kind of guide them through that at the same time if it's necessary.
Yeah.
So right now that's what I'm working at. I'm
Okay.
aiming for the end of March. Right.
Okay.
I just built the program out fully, but like I said, I want to give away something for free.
Okay.
I feel like I just owe that. Like that's why I became a therapist to give back.
Well, well, how about they just reach out to you on your socials, and you can then talk to
Oh yeah,
them
you can
there.
always I'm taking new clients for this particular program just one on one. I'm on social media, Chop the Counselor.
Yeah.
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 Oh
That's
yeah, yeah. Definitely get with them. Get your relationship fixed. Get your heart fixed, your mind fixed. Definitely gotta get with it. I respect that. The that you definitely want to give some out for free. Of course, we all gotta get, when it comes to a little bit more time, we gotta charge a little bit. But you know, the but the biggest thing is the fact that you're giving this, right? To
mm,
to help people with their traumas, right? Get past that because that is a big thing. Trauma can be from kids to adults. And healing the faster you heal that trauma, the better balance, like you said. One thing I wanted to ask was like, I know you said you wanted to get something free, right? So
Mhm.
give the people one free thing that you can, that you think you can give to them that's gonna help them out, just that can help every range.
Just
There
in
we
general.
go. Yeah.
I think that one free thing that I would give is that people would do a lot better in communal spaces if they ask why, right? Instead of just fast forwarding past a lot of situations and assuming or guessing, oh, they did this because they did this because of this, or they always doing this because of that. Say, hey, this happened. Why did you do that? Right? And just don't. It's not about like trying to be right. It's just about asking why. What happened? Get context behind the conversation, because a lot of problems happen from miscommunication. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Yeah.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree.
Thanks.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to just hold, a lot of people like to bite their tongue. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't want to feel confrontational if they ask why. You know what I mean? So, but it's definitely, I definitely feel that encouraged to ask that, because then you can kind of weed through the bull, and get on task. That makes sense for sure. You gotta make that a shirt.
Yeah.
That's your first merch. You feel what I'm saying? Ask me why.
Ask me why. Hey, I like it.
Yeah.
Your YouTube channel, Life Therapy is Life, and your Instagram series, The Chop Shop, brings mental health conversations to life through hip hop lyrics. What inspired this creative approach?
When I was going through my master program, Kendrick Lamar had just dropped Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And I don't know if have y'all listened to that album? That album is all about therapy. It's the whole thing is about therapy, and it's about looking inside yourself. And for me to be going through my master program and being the only black dude in there at that time when the album dropping, and I'm like in my last semester, so it's like really like it's like I'm writing my dissertation, not dissertation, but my thesis and everything like that, and I'm trying to get everything ready. And it's like that shit kind of fueled me, and it spoke a lot to what I was dealing with at the time, especially like, when you become a therapist, your whole master program is basically you kind of like doing therapy on yourself. So like I'm uncovering a lot of things, and it's like, man, I felt like I was the only one doing it. And then this album come out, and people not like really feeling it. Took people time to kind of get into it, but for me, it was clicking off rip. I was like, oh, whoa, no, he made this for me.
I love when they count me out.
Yeah, exactly. That's my favorite song. That's my favorite song.
Yep.
It's a lot of he saying that. When he said, ain't nobody but the mirror fall off. That is so real. Like, you be thinking that it's all these other people, but really it's just your own inception of yourself and how you view yourself, and you putting it on. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
like,
that
album right
everyone
there,
too.
Yeah, it made me go back and think, and then I started going back to these old albums I was listening as a kid. That DMX, you know what I'm saying? That Let Me Fly, like it's like, oh wait, these themes kind of been along. Like hip hop been a big part of my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, since a kid, I remember walking out records in Emilyville and buying CDs, buying the High Boys and stuff like that. And it's been a part of it. Just made sense. It just made sense.
I remember seeing you too back in the day. I don't know if we could really go here with this, but recently I watched. For a long time I didn't do it because I don't know why. I just couldn't watch it. But I recently watched the Diddy stuff. Yeah, and it made me think about hip hop, because that was hip hop has been a big, especially in that era. It was pivotal for us as Black people, for our own, I would even say, mental health. The music, the culture, the lens of a way out, the release it gave you, it seems like it's all coming into question. I mean,
Yeah,
at least I don't know if I'm
it is.
speaking for myself, but it's just with all this stuff that's happening, it's just like, I mean, I know you don't idolize stars because they're human too, but to see a whole era, I mean, we've Bill Cosby, R. Kelly,
Yeah,
Diddy. I mean, we
I
don't
think.
know who's coming next. Like,
Yeah,
any,
No, I think it's like because we should have people that we should be able to like that's in the public eye that we can kind of like look at and be like, okay, that's in the representation of me a little bit, and especially since all the people that you name are black men, like it's just an easy way to connect to see ourselves in that space,
yeah,
especially with like the stuff that like Diddy was doing when he was like partying and like having fun. Like we don't really get a chance to have fun just in general. You know what I'm saying? So just
right,
to see him dancing, we liked it. You know what I'm
right,
saying? We did
right,
like that, but like you got them demons in your closet and you're not addressing them. They can come up in
yeah,
nasty, nasty ways. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I don't know exactly what happened. Like I don't know all the details of the case, but from what I've seen with like drugging people and want to have sex with them, it all comes back to power. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it falls in line. It just makes sense. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Wanting to have that power, and then also you think of the way he climbed to the top and kind of be in a position of power. Um, I don't know that much about Diddy or his childhood or anything like that, but I'm willing to bet you can reflect somewhere in the past where he felt hopeless or he felt helpless, like he couldn't help himself. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Those things always connect. The bad stuff in our life and the good things, they connect to our
Well, I think
childhood for sure.
I don't know if you can comment on this, but one of the things that made me think about all of this is, all of us have this pursuit to get put ourselves in a better situation, both financially, physically, mentally. And more or less, we're all trying to climb our way to the top. And why I say it like that is because, at least for our culture, it's something that is not as prevalent and as inherently ready or passed down to us, or we were prepped for, or we were born into. Most of us will be in a situation where not to say all of us is going to turn out to be Diddy. So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we all have this sort of mentality of like, okay, we got to grind it out and we got to
Yeah.
get to the top. Right. So, like coming from the bottom and then more or less then all of a sudden coming into this position of power, what do you think people could do to protect themselves and their mental from becoming a villain, so to speak?
That's a good question. It's gonna go back to the same thing, honestly. When I think about
Yeah,
it, it's gonna, and I think it's odd to community, like the people that you keep around you, like they gonna check you
that's
when you're living
fair.
crazy if you got a healthy community.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We really lose that. We lose that with social media and disconnecting from people and not communing as much as we used to. You think of the idea of having a third place, right? So like the park when we was kids. You know what I'm saying? A place where we all can kind of commune and that getting taken
hmm
away. You start to lose
hmm
these poor relationships with people that like, hey, bro, you're wilding out. You need to chill. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And with the out when you send out community, then you send out morals and you send out all these other things that's a part of being together.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think if you just keep a community around you, people that actually love and care about you, then you can negate a lot of that stuff.
yeah. I love that. I love that. So, wow. I mean, I feel like we could go on and on and on with this. Um, but I think this is a good place to put a little bookmark in all of this, and then I think we should definitely do a part two. I feel like maybe
Yeah,
even a
no,
part three, part four, because there's so many. I think the other thing about mental health, especially for our community, is having it be accessible and having it be open
mm-hmm.
talked about. And I love this platform with all of us here, three black men, three entrepreneurial black men, and being able to we're not so up where we can't be real and we can't talk about these things and we can't break down these situations. And I really look forward to having more conversations with you and maybe diving into specific subjects. I don't know if you'd be open to maybe let's do a once a week thing where we just take a topic and we just dive into it. I mean, your insight
That'd be dope though.
super valuable. Let's go act and chop shop. Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, I think it's perfect. And, we could. The thing that our athletes too. We got to protect our athletes too, man. There's a lot.
I really would have got a chance though, because I told you I really want to. When it comes to like kid athletes, like I really got strong opinions on that though.
Oh yeah, let's break that down. Let's break that one down real quick. Let me see.
Let me ask one there.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So let's piggyback off that. What you said, keeping a strong group, our community, right? So one question would be like, for us is what advice would you give coaches and sports leaders to build that mentality to teach these kids that have a strong community behind them?
Oh yeah, no. One of the things I see a lot with AAU teams is that it's really, really separate, right? Like we all come together and we practice on this one day. But I remember when I was young and I played on sports teams, we would go get ice cream and we would like do these things where I was outside of just the sport, going to Great America as a group. You know what I'm saying? Like those things build like that camaraderie and kind of like coming together where it's not just an individual sport no more. You know what I'm saying? I want my boy to win just as much as I want my boy to win. And I think that's something that's really, really lacking with AAU sports. Really, really lacking. It's so separate. Like it's different. Like they're getting ready for college already. At 4th grade, 5th grade. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Gotcha. So doing more things together to build a better bond, is what you're saying, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Exactly. Like, but sometimes it could be just like 10 minutes at the end of practice, just to kind of how we all feeling today. Let's go around and do a mental health check-in. It don't gotta be called mental health. It be called something. You can name something cool. Just how we all feeling today. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, just to kind of like create that space of communing, like coming together. You know?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Dive into that subject you wanted to talk about. We got like another 10 minutes.
Yeah. So my thing is that I strongly think that like the way that we're doing kids sports nowadays is too intense. It shouldn't be that packed back to back every weekend a tournament, every weekend this. And you miss a lot of, like I remember my godson, like my cousin, he played for Southern Utah and his wife was in the WNBA. So like their kids they're playing basketball. But I remember I asked him, I said, hey, what do you got planned for the summer? What's coming up? And he looked at me like I was crazy and he said basketball. And I was like, what about like Disneyland or anything like that? And he was like, what? Like the confusion in his eyes made me think like, oh, well, you're not even like my guy. You're missing out on the whole childhood here. Luckily, they was able to redirect that, bring it back. You know what I'm saying? From since then, but it like I imagine the ones who don't redirect it and bring it back, and it's not that fun experience no more. You know? So yeah, that's my thing. Sometimes coaches to step up and take initiative and be like, hey, either we're all doing this team activity this weekend instead of playing in the tournament, or take this time to go do some family stuff.
Yeah. Woof. That's at least definitely in my experience with a lot of the people that I've run into, it's heavily skilled and activity focused, whether it be basketball or piano or whatever. Volleyball is pretty competitive too.
It is.
It's just super intense. If we're not practicing during the season, we're practicing off season. If we're not practicing off season, then we're doing training. It's just boom, boom, boom. And I do understand what you're saying, because some of the kids that I run into, it's like, you know what, we're just gonna just play basketball. I'm not gonna try to force any skills on you. Let's just go out there and just for the love of the game. And I think we do need to get back to that.
You don't have that. I got good playing at the park with my friends no more. You don't have that. You don't have that.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying? That's it makes sense why we got nobody stepping up want to be the next star in the league. They don't love it like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been looked at
that
like
competitive nature out there. Yeah. It's been a job.
Yeah. Think about 21, the game 21. Both of us playing on one basket. That's crazy.
Man. 21
you know
with tips. Man, you tell kids, hey, let's play 21 tips. They be like,
yeah.
What?
You don't know what tips is?
Exactly.
Come on, man.
You're not even having fun playing basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we should circle back to that one on the next one. That's a little bait for you to come back to. This has been a great session, and I really look forward to talking to you again. Everybody, Hassan Russell here. Thank you for coming through. I'm definitely gonna make sure to link every description for his YouTube channel, his Instagram page, the Gottman theory. Let's get those out there for the people. We need to make sure that gets passed along. And thank you for the work that you're doing. Please continue it. You're doing really good work, man. I love all your content. I'm a big fan. And I think it's something that the people need.
Yeah, no, and the same to y'all. Like, having a platform where people can come on and just have a conversation, it's always a beautiful thing. And I think that y'all seeing the evidence in that already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, hey, man. Until next time, any parting words?
Follow me on all social medias. Chop the counselor on everything. I'm falling back from it a little bit now just because I'm kind of want to actually focus on finishing this program out, but that's where I'm at. Chop the counselor on everything.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to the next breakdown. Shoot, let us know if we can help or do anything for you, man.
No, definitely. I appreciate that. Yes,
sir. All right, man. Well, this is Ryan from Athletic Conceptual Training, co-host Terry Adams.
Yeah.
We have this is a special one. Thank you for taking the time to sit with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Whenever Ryan gets
his
technical difficulties over here.
I know. All right. My bad. I'm gonna have to edit that out.
God.
It's weird because I'm doing the manager. What the? Okay, yeah, I gotta edit this video. Anyway, we could just stay on for a little bit. Yo, bro, thank you. Oh, here we go. Yeah.